On 2004scape, this is every single training spot you need to go from a fresh tutorial island build to completely maxed. 12 spots plus bonus methods that most players don't even know existed. Spots that print money while you can AFK, spots deep in the wilderness that are worth dying at, and the exact spot where I'm maxing my own account right now. Whether you're brand new to the game, somewhere in the middle, or racing for one of the top high scores, by the end of this video, you'll know exactly where to train, what to bring, and how to make millions while you do it. This is the only 2004scape training guide that you'll ever need, and let's just get right into it. Before you start your training journey on 2004scape, do yourself a favor and knock out just 1 hour of questing. After completing Waterfall, Tree Gnome Village, and Fight Arena, you'll be above 40 attack and 30 strength, and with those starter stats, everything on your account will compound nicely. To be honest, I really wouldn't recommend training without doing these quests first. Once you've got the questing done, your first spot could be rock crabs. These are going to be the best early game XP purely because of how high their hit points are and how easy they are to kill, but the cons are they drop literally nothing, so you won't make any money, and you'll need to reset the aggro constantly. This is purely for XP if you just want to get experience and you don't care about anything else. If you want sustainable income while you train and the ability to look away from the screen, thugs or chaos druids under the Edgeville dungeon will be your best bet instead of rock crabs. These both drop herbs and they go for 2 to 5k each, and you can easily rack up a few mil early game while building your account. This is going to be really easy to AFK because the monsters have such a big aggression range, and you can reset very simply by just running off screen every 5 to 10 minutes. By now you should be at the pre-mid game stage. You should have roughly these stats and roughly the same gear, if not better, from selling all the units that you got from killing chaos druids or thugs. You'll be tanky enough to now train combat effectively and get some decent drops for dragon items that will be coming up next after just a few levels. Quick note though, on prayer, 2004scape is a bit rough since there's no gilded altars, but 43 prayer is the highest prayer level in the game, so it's not some crazy grind, we just need to start somewhere. One spot I would definitely recommend is the hill giants under Edgeville dungeon. These have great combat XP overall, and they have really good drops with big bones and limpwort roots. The cons are they do decent damage and you'll need to bank once in a while. They're also not super AFKable, but a very valid early game choice to build up those stats and make some money while continuously getting solid XP. The next spot on the list is one of my personal favorites, and it's the pirates in the deep wilderness. You'll need 39 thieving and a lockpick to access these, but they're 100% AFKable, and you can steal nature runes from the chest for passive GP and thieving experience while you train. However, there's also a red berry pie on the table, so you will be able to have some extra sustainability and even quick access to a bank over at the mage arena. The obvious con of this location is that the spot is 100% wilderness. Mage bank is kind of active, so you can get PK'd, but with all the aggressive monsters around you, you can escape and get a log out pretty easily if anyone tries. A super hidden gem for this part of the game is going to be the tribesman on Brimhaven. Now this is a super unique training spot because I can almost guarantee that you've never trained here before. Here's why. These guys poison you, and it's not your average poison. This stuff is basically venom from regular OSRS. It hits you 11s, so if you're not stacking anti-poisons, you are most likely going to die. But here's the trade-off. Tribesmen not only have a ton of hit points for great experience gains, but they have one of, if not the best, mid to early game drop table in the game. Seriously, if you loot everything, this spot is stupid money. After one inventory of tribesmen, this is what the loot should look like. That pile alone is worth nearly 100k on the market. The logistics are super easy here as well. If you run out of anti-poisons, just go south to the general store and you can buy more for relatively cheap. And when your inventory is full, just go north to the ship and go bank an RD and restock your supplies. Super underrated training spot. I wasn't even a believer in this place until I stepped out and tried this method for myself. The next spot on the list is a little bit weird. We're going to kill gas in Canifis. You're going to need to complete Nature Spirit and Priest and Pearl to even access this area, but it does have a bit of an upside. Every kill you get here will grant you 30 passive prayer XP, no burning bones required. The gas also have 44 hit points and their DPS is basically nothing. The only con here is you're going to obviously need to complete a couple quests, and you'll be filling druid pouches and refilling your prayer every time you get a couple kills. It can be a little bit annoying, and honestly I wouldn't recommend it, but if you want something different and some passive prayer XP, this is actually a decent option. Another solid choice is back in the Edgeville dungeon, just north and about 4 to 5 wilderness at the red spiders. They've got a decent chunk of health, so they're pretty good XP, and there's a big red spider egg spawn right next to them. As you eat through your food, fill the empty slots with the eggs so that every resupply trip you're banking an additional 20 to 30k coins on top of the EXP. For the people who just want pure experience with no perks attached, giant skeletons are always a great option. You can find them in a few places across the game like Crandor or the Wilderness, but in my opinion, the best spot is by far the Yanil dungeon. You gotta have 40 agility to get in, but once you have that requirement, this room is flooded with them. They're very aggressive and they've got a ton of hit points, so it's a great spot to AFK for massive gains. Alternatively, if you don't mind the clicking, we also have Chaos Druid Warriors in the dungeon. They're basically buffed Chaos Druids with way more hit points and a way better drop table. So if you want to make some extra money, you can definitely go and kill these as well because they're going to be super profitable. The only drawback is they're not aggressive, so there's no AFK ability here, but it is a pretty good choice. Once you've built your account up a bit, your gear and stats should look something like this if you've been using these spots correctly and making money along the way. This should unlock a whole new tier of training spots, and one interesting spot I found is the Moss Giants north of Ardy. Moss Giants have 60 hit points and the drop table is better than you would actually expect. Nature runes, law runes, chaos, bloods, units, big bones for prayer, plus access to the rare drop table, which means access to half keys. Half keys alone will go for 100k plus profit. The location is the real perk though. You're pretty close to a bank, and if you still need fishing and cooking levels for Heroes Quest, you can fish and cook your own food right there and never have to leave. The only con of this is Moss Giants are kind of boring and you can't fully AFK, but you can knock out a bunch of different requirements in one spot without ever needing to resupply if you don't want to. This next spot is my personal favorite on the whole list, and it's where I'm choosing to max out my own account. The Wilderness Axe Hut. You just need 23 thieving, a bit of armor, and a lockpick to get inside. This is genuinely one of the best training spots in the entire game. Fully AFKable, insane XP, and an S tier location if your goal is building a max main. The only cons are that there's 0 drops and you're here for XP only. PKers do come by from time to time, but to be honest, it's pretty easy to play around. You only have to really risk 3 items and pad the rest of your gear with cheap stuff like Mithril or Addy, so that when you die, you don't really lose anything that matters. Gear-wise, most people would like to bring a Dragon Longsword if they have it unlocked, but honestly, I would recommend a Rune Skim because it's actually better. The axes have really low defense, so the Skim is faster attack speed and wins on overall XP. Another decent spot is inside the Taverley dungeon at the Baby Blue Dragons. They've got a decent chunk of hit points, and every kill drops Baby Dragon Bones, so you're going to be stacking prayer experience alongside the combat XP. The cons of this location are that you will need to bank from time to time, and you won't really make any money here. But considering how rough prayer is to train on 2004scape, combat and prayer at the same time is in fact a double win. By now your account should be at the endgame level and your stats should look something like this. You've probably done all the big quests by now, so Fremennik Trials, Legends Quest, Lost City, and so on. There really isn't too much to do, but if you've been playing the game properly, your account should probably be at this stage. So if you've made it this far, this next spot is going to be another S tier location. We're going straight to the Legends Guild to kill some Shadow Warriors. These Shadow Warriors are stacked. They have 67 hit points, which is going to be insane XP, and their combat level is super low, so they barely do any damage to you. Unlike the Axe Hut, they're also going to make you some consistent money. Blood runes, death runes, uncut gems, weapon poison, herbs, and access to the rare drop table. The cons are this spot isn't super AFK. You can make it work, but once in a while you do get logged out. And of course, you're going to have to complete Legends Quest, which can be a little bit rough if you haven't done it. But if you're at this stage of the game, you should probably just finish all the major quests so that your account can be fully built out and you'll have access to everything the game has to offer. Spot number 11 is another fully AFKable, profitable, and S tier location. We're going under Edgeville Dungeon again to the Earth Warriors in the Wilderness, and you can basically park here all the way to 126 combat. This is probably a top 3 spot in the whole game. Super AFKable, 50 plus hit points on every single Earth Warrior, and the drops aren't bad at all. You're going to get nature runes, law runes, deaths, bloods, units, and of course the uncut gems. The cons of this spot are that it's pretty competitive because you can teleport out easily, so you'll often be fighting other players for spots, and the aggro reset can be a bit annoying. However, this is a really good spot and I would recommend anybody try it if you're planning on maxing out because it's pretty much an unbeatable location other than places like maybe the Axe Hut. The final endgame training spot I would actually recommend is going to be Green Dragons in the Wilderness. Now this is a real moneymaker. Every green dragon drops dragon bones, dragon hides, and then an additional drop like natures, law runes, or hard clues. The XP here is insane, and it's really good profit. The bones mean you progress your prayer at an endgame level, and it's also going to be one of the best money makers in the game, period. The only con is simple. They're in 35 Wilderness, and PKers come here pretty frequently. This is the most dangerous spot on the list, so only bring what you can afford to lose and expect to get attacked from time to time, especially since your inventory is going to be filled up with hides. However, I would definitely not pass on this spot because it's obviously going to be one of the best. I mean, green dragons are a staple in any version of RuneScape, whether it's 2002, or 2032. To finish off, we've got a couple bonus spots, and these are for the ultra rich only, the kind of guys with more GP than they know what to do with. We're talking prayer pot multi-combat training. First off, we're going to go underneath the White Wolf Mountain. There's a multi-combat area with Ice Warrior spawns that will keep you in constant combat for 10 minutes straight. If you're under about 110 combat and you've got deep pockets, this is going to beat every single spot on the list. The pros are that it's extremely fast XP, nothing else really comes close, but the cons are that it's expensive, and honestly, I wouldn't even bother with this unless you've sold a party hat for like a couple $100 mil and just have money to blow. But if you want something even better, you could do the same thing underneath the Mage Arena stairs at the Fire Giants. You're going to be in constant combat here as well, and you'll be getting insane XP per hour. Plus, they also have a good drop table, so you'll be making most of your money back. The catch is not only is it expensive, but it's also in the wilderness, and you'll be training with zero food, so if a PKer comes across you, you're most likely dead. It sounds pretty insane, but people do genuinely train here, and they usually are on the top spots for XP gain throughout the day. One final spot that I honestly didn't know where to put on this list are the trolls near Birthrobe. These are kind of a weird one because they have super high hit points with low defense, which makes them really good for training, but they're also going to be hitting you back, so it's actually like conventional training. You'll make money here for sure. You get nature runes, units, adamant armor drops that you can alch, but the cons are just too strange for me to place somewhere in a correct tier. They're going to do damage back to you, you're going to need to bank frequently, and the aggro range isn't super good, so you can't AFK. But if you do want to train here, I'd recommend giving it a go because it's pretty decent, and overall, there's a couple people that have pretty much maxed out just by training on trolls. If you follow this guide, your 2004scape account will be in a great position for PVMing, wars, and high scores competitions. The thing about 2004scape is it follows the real original RuneScape update timeline, so as the content roadmap progresses, new areas will unlock, new training spots will come with them, and new monsters will also be on the radar. Personally, I'm really looking forward to bandits and experiments down the line, and with the new Slayer drop coming out pretty soon, I'll be definitely making a revamped version of this guide at some point in the future. But if you're building an account right now, thinking about starting one, or maybe getting ready for Slayer, Barrows, Ancients, and everything else on the way, these spots are going to be your best bet. Let me know down below in the comments what your favorite spots are, or if there's a hidden gem that I missed. Everything for playing 2004scape is going to be in the description, including my live stream, Discord, which is the most active community in the game, and how to play 2004scape completely free in your browser, no download required, no payment required, and it also works on mobile. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.